Going to be talking about the different ways that your clients can build their visibility in this hybrid world. So we know that our clients, whether they're job seeking or they're working, they want to build their visibility for that promotion, to get that next job, for things to just flow in their career and also in their personal life. So, how do we do that when everything is either online or we're kind of bouncing in between in person and online? How do we maintain those relationships and how do we build our visibility? So, whether you're working with someone that's wanting to, get that promotion, been talking a lot about that lately because of course there's so much internal opportunity, or someone who's looking to make a move, what do they do to build their visibility? So here's the number one thing that I am finding when I'm talking to people, and I'm even seeing some of your posts online about people being hesitant to engage on LinkedIn. It's like, what do I do, right? What do I say? What do I post? And that's the number one thing we're worried about is what do I post? So we're going to attack that a little bit today from a different angle than you probably heard before. And I want to talk about why I don't like my clients to sit around and wait and get found. You all are my clients. And if you run a career services business, you know what it means that if you're sitting around and waiting to get found, it's crickets, it's lack of dollars. It means you aren't being able to serve the people you want to serve and pay your bills. For our clients, it's exactly the same thing. If they are job seeking or looking for a promotion and they're sitting around waiting for someone to find them, it's crickets. They're not getting job offers. They're not getting found. They're not getting recruited. Why? Because yes, and even though they might improve their SEO of their profile, someone actually has to be searching that way to find them. And yes, it is a popular thing to do, but not every recruiter is going to search that way. So they're missing out on a lot of opportunities. Now, getting their profile optimized is important. And you all know we've talked about the tools to do that, to research the keywords on LinkedIn Explorer. We can do that. That is actually not that hard because there are more and more tools for us to do that. Now, getting our clients to update their content and working those keywords into a conversational, a profile that someone wants to read, that's why they hire us, right? Because we can do those things. When it comes right down to it, the more challenging thing is to break out of the mold and not just sit around and wait to get found. However, here's the thing. Your clients don't have to join that 1% of people creating content on LinkedIn for their proactive strategy to work. And we're going to talk about some of the other things that they can do today. And again, some of the reasons why we struggle so much with what to put on LinkedIn. And we'll talk about that in just a second. If you're joining us, say hello in the chat. I'd love to see who's joining us and where you're joining us from. And maybe give me a, heck yeah, if you also have clients that struggle with what to post on LinkedIn, or maybe if you yourself struggle occasionally, like I do, with what to post on LinkedIn and what we can focus on instead to both broaden our digital impact and not have to wonder what we should post on LinkedIn. So I'm going to give you 3 ways that our clients can get more engaged, get more proactive, and not have to worry about getting found. So, yay, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us from Cleveland, Ohio. Love to see you. And from Georgia, thank you. Good to see you. I know on LinkedIn, like my comments don't come through, which is kind of annoying. So we'll work around that as we go. But I'd like to see that I can see your comments. So thank you. Okay, so let's attack this I don't know what to post on LinkedIn thing from a different angle. Here's the thing. Our clients are way too focused on LinkedIn. It is not the only game in town, and when you are focused on only LinkedIn, then you're sitting around wondering, what should I post on LinkedIn? Instead, they can engage in their digital community beyond LinkedIn. Here's how. They can engage in their professional community beyond LinkedIn. First, let's start by figuring out where the people that they want to work for are generally. This is not rocket science. We've been putting together a little tool for our digital branding strategists to help them better identify their audience. But it's asking the people that they work with, where are they? Or if they're in a profession that has a professional association, which is almost everything, They can go into those professional associations and, yes, get engaged in the professional association, but also ask, where else are people engaging, and do the research. Where else are people engaging? So as they're seeing people posting or talking on the professional association, or even going in and looking at the speakers for the professional association events, their webinars, see, where are those people at? And not just, oh, they've got a profile on LinkedIn, but where are they actually engaging? Which may mean that they have to ask the question and not just look at the surface value. Because the surface value, let's say for an engineer, they might have a profile on LinkedIn, it's likely not that filled out, and they're likely not engaging there. So where are they actually engaging? And you might be surprised at what you see. The other thing is, where are they consuming content? Because I want to get engaged in the community, but if I also want to build my visibility, there are other options. What are they listening to? Podcasts are huge and getting bigger and not going anywhere. So your client may say, well, I can't have a podcast. That is not what we're suggesting. However, if they can figure out the podcasts that their audience is listening to, maybe they could be a guest. And this may not appeal to everyone. So you got to figure out, what are your clients' main ways of engaging. I got to tell you that podcasts are great for introverts. And being interviewed on a podcast is even better for an introvert, because you get to tell the hosts love this. So one host is going to love to interview someone that's in their industry and not trying to hawk a book or whatever, right? I get approached by people constantly that want me to interview them because they've got a book coming out. It's okay, but it's great when someone has a different angle. And so if your person is just wanting to build their visibility, wanting to share their expertise, wanting to build their job search, which of course they're not going to necessarily say, but that's going to be a different angle. And if they network with that podcast host and get in and start to make a conversation happen using the techniques we'll talk about in just a minute, they could actually get on that podcast and be interviewed. You submit your questions that you want the host to ask you, and you can have your answers prepared. You don't want to sound like you're, reading from a script, but you can have your answers prepared. It's a great opportunity for anyone who considers themselves to be a subject matter expertise. Note, you don't have to have your own podcast. Find the podcasts your audience is listening to. So if your audience is, engineering managers, ask those folks, what podcasts are you listening to? What's your favorite podcast? And you can ask a question like that in anywhere those people hang out. In a professional association, if they've got some kind of dashboard, on a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, wherever they're hanging out, you can ask that question. One, now you're getting engagement from the group and you're getting known in that group. And two, you can start looking at those podcasts and those podcast hosts to see if they are looking for guests. And podcast hosts are always looking for guests, looking for people that are going to be interesting. Again, not just there to, pitch their book, but what is it that you're going to be able to talk about? Build a relationship with that host. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. And it could be a great opportunity. Then you have something to share on LinkedIn, right? Now you can share that you were a guest. You can take some of the snippets from the transcript or whatever. A lot of times podcast hosts give you visuals. They give you the little, testimonial. It's not a testimonial, but what I heard you say, capture that. Sometimes there's videos, sometimes there's not. I let my guests choose. So this is a huge audience, great opportunity, doesn't have to take a lot of effort to be a guest. And now you've also cracked that egg of, what do I post on LinkedIn? Because you've given yourself something to post. You can do the exact same thing with articles, article comments. We make it bigger than it needs to be sometimes. If your professional association has articles, you can write a comment on there, or you can share the article on LinkedIn and add your expertise to it. And now you've got another post that you're posting on LinkedIn. So stop worrying about LinkedIn. Start getting engaged in your professional world, or the professional world you want to join. And boom, now all of a sudden you actually also have things that you can add to LinkedIn. The other thing that I would say about getting your digital brand built, building your digital visibility, is to start commenting first. And this goes back to, you don't have to write an article for your professional association. See what's already going on there. If they have comments, comment. If they don't, comment when you're posting it to your favorite social media channel, and think about what you would have added if they allowed comments. Put that in first and then link to the article. Best case scenario is that you can also tag the author so that you can get that conversation going when you're doing that. Any social channel that you choose, you can start with comments instead of posts. So if you are doing the research and you're trying to figure out where your audience is, the number one thing that defines kind of those audiences and where they show up is age. And there's some pretty strong demographic data around where different age groups show up on social media. And of course, there's some social media that all age groups are on. Facebook, 89% of people in the world are on Facebook. So you're most likely to find a group, especially a group on Facebook that's engaged in a conversation you want to join. I've got a product manager who is in the engines, so big engines, industrial engines. You wouldn't think Facebook for that, but there's this really thriving group on Facebook of the customers of large engine parts. And it's been a great place for this product manager to get engaged, to see what his customers are thinking, to engage with the companies that maybe they'd want to go work for if they decide to make a move. You'd be surprised when you start doing that research of where people actually are. When you're looking at, it's actually a kind of a strange breakdown of people that are just graduating from college on LinkedIn, and then you're 50 plus on LinkedIn. You're looking for that mid-career person. The data actually shows that they aren't on LinkedIn that often, which is interesting. Those folks more likely to be on Instagram, on Twitter, actually. So figuring out where your audience is. Again, your clients can start that research based on professional associations, people that are already in their network, and figuring out where are those people engaging, what communities are they engaging in, and then they can go engage on those communities as well. Start with comments. Instead of thinking that you have to worry about posting on LinkedIn or whatever platform they choose, what can they do to engage with posts that people are already making? And if they're following along in the industry, they do some really easy searches based on industry terms. LinkedIn brings up posts for you to engage with. And instead of searching by people, you can search those keywords by posts and find some of those posts you might want to engage with. Of course, if you already know some of the companies you want to engage with, you can search by company and by person. It may be hard to find a person that is posting from that company that's in your sphere, keep on our engineering theme. So you can search both ways and find that content. Comment first. It can turn into a post. I was just asking one of our colleagues if they saved their comments, because saving comments is a great way to build towards a post, or to have something sitting around that then you never have to wonder, what should I post if you want to post, because you've got all of these comments you've made on previous posts that you can use as a springboard into a new post. So get your head out of LinkedIn, think about other ways you can engage, especially with your professional association, articles, podcasts. What are people listening to? What are they reading? And you can jump in and be a guest, or a guest article writer, or a commenter. And you don't have to try to, build the whole tree. Just start with one little step in an easy way to engage. Second thing is start with commenting on that social platform, that you can work your way into posting that way, and actually might find that you get just as much benefit from commenting as you would from posting, and you don't really have to try that hard. So then the third thing that I want to say is to get out in real life. I just encourage us to help our clients get back into the habit of networking in person. If you've got an opportunity to go to a company meeting, to travel, to do those things, to go into the office a couple of days a week, even to just join a community organization in person, we have forgotten how powerful in person is. And it's easy to not do that now that we've gotten in the habit of not doing it. Let's get back in the habit, because it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. And I can tell you that a lot of this research that's being done right now around how isolating and bad for our mental health being behind the computer constantly is. If your clients are working remotely, help them figure out ways to get engaged in their community in a different way. So I just today was inducted into local Rotary Club here in Colorado. We moved to Utah right before COVID, never got to get engaged there, but I had been in Rotary since 2010, and it's always been a great way for me to connect, to learn about the community, and to give back while also having some networking with people in my community. Is it people that are going to do business with me? Probably not, but it's that fulfillment and the opportunity to share my gifts in other ways with other people that your clients might be missing out on as well. If they can't get in person with their company, can they get in person with their professional association? That's a great way to do it. And if neither of those are possible, have them start going to those professional association meetings virtually or their company meetings virtually, but showing up on video. This is the other thing that we're not doing real well anymore. And doesn't have to be an all the time thing because it is more draining in some ways. But when you're never showing up in video, you're never really letting yourself connect with the other person on the other end of the screen. And if you just even for a few minutes at the beginning of those meetings or at the end, show up on video and hopefully the other person will reciprocate so that you can actually have a face-to-face conversation even though you're on video. And it's so powerful for our visibility to be visible. It shouldn't be like ooh, who's this rocket science, right? You can't be visible if you're always a name on the screen or even a headshot. People get used to seeing it and they tune out. I would encourage you, show up to those professional association meetings, show up to your work meetings, and figure out a time or an opportunity, or even setting up some one-on-one meetings separately where you can show up face to face and actually engage with people. And it will be powerful when people start to do that and have that engagement in that other way, in a different way. Yay, thank you. Good to see you. Ray, thanks for joining us. And Sarah, thank you. It's good to see all of you. So we have been talking about our digital branding class coming up for a while, and some folks have reached out to me and said, how is this different from this class that I've taken on LinkedIn? And most of the other classes in our industry do focus on LinkedIn. Great, because it is so important. I encourage you to take those classes as well. The Resume Writing Academy has one on profile writing, although we do talk about other profiles. The resume or the LinkedIn profile is the number one, of course. The digital branding class is different because we're going to be talking about how your clients can get engaged digitally, building their brand beyond just LinkedIn, and in much more depth, talking about how you use the platforms, including LinkedIn, to build your visibility proactively. So your profile is a smidge of it. We don't go deep on that. We're talking about how do you comment? How do you find people to comment on? What do those comments sound like? You'll do homework where you write comments and Deb and I give you feedback. Then we'll talk about how do you write posts that are engaging and storied and lead someone actually to want to take action as well. You send us some posts, we give you some feedback. And we are doing that on LinkedIn, but we're also encouraging you to pick another platform, whether it's YouTube comments, even TikTok comments. We're going to talk about TikTok more because it's blown up in terms of its usership, despite all of its challenges. We'll talk about it in short-term video. Instagram, it doesn't matter what it is, any platform, you can take some of these same ideas and execute it there. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to show you how to execute it on LinkedIn and other places so that you are building your brand visibility and also building your community, because that is the number one thing our clients need if they want to move quickly from place to place. Yes, it's that visibility and being able to get found. And when they're active, they're that much more likely to get found than just optimizing their profile. And now they're also going to be engaged in the communities that they want to be a part of so that they can move faster next time something happens, because these are a lifelong engagement, well, profession long engagement in a community. It isn't about their job search. And most of our clients need that long-term strategy because they know they want to move. They know that they have an opportunity to build a long-term path and not just worry about the job search that's right in front of them, which, yes, these activities will help with as well. So that's the differences. I've had people kind of asking me about that. We're looking at all the platforms. We're talking about how to figure out where your client can engage. We're talking about things beyond social media, like podcasts and all of the ways that they can get engaged, so that it isn't just about what do I post on LinkedIn. It's about having a rich community engagement in the digital space that then lends itself to easier creating of content, but also a community building that in some ways doesn't require it. And our clients can engage more authentically in that community instead of sitting down and worrying about what they're going to post. So we're just kicking that off on Thursday. It's one of my favorite classes, Do with Deb Dib. As I said, we're working on an audience mapping tool right now because that's one of the things our classes have been telling us. We want it easier to help our clients find their audience. So it's a year-long opportunity. You take the class and then you're in the community for a year, getting our updates on all the platforms, including what's new on LinkedIn, so that you can be on top of the trends for your job seekers and career climbers. If you have any questions on that, let me know, and love to see you in the class. That starts on Thursday. Thank you, everyone, and we will be talking about career change next week. So if you have any career change trends or questions you want us to cover, let us know. Thank you.